They told you that your suffering was sacred, that staying quiet was noble, and forgiving everyone was divine. But that was never true holiness. It was holding yourself in chains. The empath is not born as a saint, but shaped by fire. That fire wasn't light, it was neglect, fear, and abandonment. What you carried wasn't virtue, it was survival disguised as kindness. As a kid, you learned to read the room before you could read words. You noticed your mother's sighs and your father's moods. Every little signal became a secret code you had to figure out to stay safe. Sensitivity wasn't a gift, it was armor, fragile but necessary. That armor later became the mask you wore into adulthood. Society told you this constant vigilance was empathy. In reality, it was hyper-awareness born from danger, but praised as kindness. When people say you're too sensitive, they erase the story behind your eyes. They celebrate your endless forgiveness, but never ask what it costs you. That's how culture glorifies your pain while keeping you small. Forgiveness became a prison. You were taught that healing meant always forgiving, so you did it over and over, even when the wound was still open. But forgiveness without boundaries isn't grace, it's self-erasure. It silences the anger that could protect you and denies the grief that could actually restore you. How many times did you forgive just to feel safe? How many times did you stay quiet to avoid conflict? That wasn't compassion, it was survival in disguise. Every time you silenced yourself, you chipped away a piece of your soul. You thought it was virtue, but really it was the price of keeping everyone else comfortable. Then came the breaking point. You could no longer pretend. The mask cracked and the false self started to show. This moment wasn't failure, it was the beginning of waking up. Only when the mask breaks can you see your real self, the one hidden under years of compliance and silence. Jung said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain," and you lived that truth. The pain wasn't punishment, it was initiation. Facing your shadow meant facing anger, grief, and the silence you'd buried. Those feelings you were told to reject came back to guide you toward your own truth. For the first time, you let anger rise instead of shutting it down. You let grief move through you like a storm instead of pushing it away. And in that storm, you realized these emotions weren't enemies. They were proof you were alive. They were signals of the boundaries you were never allowed to claim. When you said no for the first time, it shook your whole body. It felt like betrayal, but it was actually loyalty to yourself. You stopped just mirroring others' needs and started standing as your own person. This is individuation, the sacred path of reclaiming your soul. The shadow wasn't darkness, it became your guide. As you stepped into this truth, the masks around you began to fall. People who depended on your silence got uncomfortable. Your boundaries became a mirror they couldn't ignore. You were no longer their source of comfort, you became the challenge. And in that reflection, they finally saw themselves clearly, maybe for the first time. This sensitivity you carry, it's not a gift. It's a survival mechanism. As a kid, you learned to read the room to stay alive. The daughter who read her mother's silence, the son who decoded his father's anger. This was how you survived. Can you remember moments when you were hyper-aware to avoid trouble? When you realized being too kind sometimes meant keeping yourself invisible? Society calls it empathy, but in reality it trained you to disappear while everyone applauded your sacrifice. Have you ever wondered why you keep forgiving people who hurt you? You were taught that forgiveness equals love and the world rewards it. But what does it cost you? Every unearned apology, every silent agreement, every swallowed truth. Empathy without discernment isn't love, it's martyrdom. Ask yourself, how often have you been a hero in someone else's story while losing your own? Then comes the moment you realize you've been giving away pieces of yourself. You start noticing patterns, the same people who relied on your silence, the ones who thrived on your patience. And suddenly saying no feels terrifying, but also liberating. What would happen if you stopped apologizing for existing? If you stopped making excuses for people who never showed up for you? This is where the real shift begins, the shift from survival to sovereignty. Jung said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." And you feel it, the ache of realizing that for years your empathy was weaponized against you. That light you gave was siphoned to feed the shadows of others. The awakening is not about becoming hard or cold. It's about reclaiming your energy, understanding that your presence is sacred, and learning that you do not need to fix anyone to validate yourself. Have you ever felt drained by people who only take, never give? That exhaustion isn't weakness, it's a signal. Your boundaries are telling you, this is enough. And when you finally honor them, everything changes. People who once relied on your compliance may resist. They might accuse you of being selfish or distant. But the truth is, you're just showing up as your real self for the first time. And that's powerful. Once you claim your boundaries, the masks around you start to fall. Those who thrived on your silence can't hide anymore. Can you feel the tension when you finally speak up? That discomfort you see in others, it's not about you. It's them confronting their own shadows. You're not cruel for standing firm. You're awake, and your clarity is contagious. Have you noticed how some people try to pull you back into old patterns, flattery, guilt, or excuses? They test your resolve, but you no longer dance for crumbs. You no longer give your energy to those who never helped fill your well. Your no is sacred, your time is valuable, and your attention is a gift you no longer hand out blindly. This awakening isn't just personal, it's transformative. By refusing to absorb other people's chaos, you allow them to face their own lessons. You become a mirror, not a sponge. Your presence shows others their own patterns, sometimes painfully. Have you felt the power of being seen without performing? That's where real change begins. Grief comes too, and that's natural. You'll mourn the version of yourself that stayed quiet to keep the peace. You'll grieve the relationships built on compromise and self-erasure. Let it come. Each tear is a step toward freedom. Have you ever allowed yourself to truly mourn what you lost by being overly available to others? And in that grief, something miraculous happens. You reconnect with your true self. You realize that forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. You forgive not to maintain a bond, but to release the weight of carrying what wasn't yours. This is the moment of true liberation, the moment you stop performing love and start living it authentically. Constantly forgiving everyone doesn't make you noble. It slowly erodes who you are. Have you ever noticed how forgiving someone repeatedly left you feeling smaller? How the act meant to show love actually chipped away at your identity? That's the hidden cost of endless mercy. It feeds others while draining your own soul. Why do we do this? The roots go deep. Fear of being abandoned, needing approval, believing love comes from self-erasure. Can you remember moments when you stayed silent or forgave just to avoid rejection? That pattern isn't weakness, it's survival shaped by years of conditioning and early loss. Society tells us, forgive endlessly, it's virtuous, but that's a myth. Culture praises empaths only when they are compliant, silent, and giving. Have you ever questioned why your kindness was expected, but never truly respected? How many times did you sacrifice your own truth to fit the story others wanted you to live? And here's the hardest truth. You were never meant to be a fixer of broken people at the expense of yourself. Every time you excused someone's cruelty, you forgot to protect your own heart. Ask yourself, when did forgiving stop being an act of love and start being a survival tactic? Can you feel the difference now? The first step toward freedom is noticing this cycle. Recognize when your forgiveness is being used as a leash. When you give to maintain approval, not because your soul chooses it. Can you recall the last time you said yes, even though every part of you screamed no? That tension is a signal your inner self asking to be honored. Setting boundaries is the first act of self-respect. Saying no doesn't make you selfish, it shows you know your worth. Can you think of times you gave too much and ended up depleted? Each time you honored your limits, even quietly, you reclaimed a piece of yourself. Boundaries aren't walls, they're the bridges back to your true self. Refusing to forgive recklessly is part of that reclaiming. You stop giving your energy to people who never earned it. Have you ever realized that your yes was more about obligation than choice? That your forgiveness was keeping you tied to someone else's story? That's when you start rewriting the rules of your own life. Your identity doesn't come from fixing others or being endlessly available. Ask yourself, how often did you lose yourself trying to keep someone else whole? Every compromise you didn't choose chipped away at your soul. The moment you stop doing that, the real you starts to shine through. You remember who you were before everyone else's expectations. Have you noticed how freeing it feels when you finally refuse to carry what isn't yours? That guilt, the need to justify yourself, even the fear of being labeled harsh, they start to fade. You realize you're not abandoning love, you're honoring it by protecting it within yourself first. Your presence becomes intentional, powerful, and unshakable. And here's the truth. When you stop performing love and start living it authentically, everything shifts. People who thrived on your silence are forced to face their own patterns. You're no longer a sponge for emotions, you're a mirror. Ask yourself, can you feel the difference when your energy is yours to give, not theirs to take? That's the moment freedom truly begins. The grief you feel isn't random. It's the mourning of all the masks you wore, the behaviors that weren't yours, the compromises you made just to be seen or accepted. It's the sorrow of silenced emotions, of self-betrayal, and the parts of you refused to acknowledge. This grief opens the door to self-loyalty and the inner work ahead. Can you feel it? Have you noticed how often you dimmed your light to avoid conflict? How many times did you smile when inside you were screaming? This grief is for every moment you swallowed your voice just to keep others comfortable. It's not weakness, it's recognition. Can you name the moments you gave up pieces of yourself to protect someone else's peace? Think about the masks you wore to belong. The act of pretending, of bending your behavior, of sacrificing authenticity. What toll did it take on your soul? Each mask you let fall now allows you to reclaim what was always yours. Which masks feel heaviest when you think about letting them go? Grief also comes from all the emotional labor you carried that wasn't yours. The weight of other people's anger, sadness, or guilt. How often did you take it in to keep the peace? Imagine setting it down piece by piece. Can you feel your shoulders relaxing as you acknowledge that it was never yours to bear? What about the parts of yourself you refused to accept? The traits, the desires, the emotions you were taught to hide or shame. This grief honors those losses, the moments you denied your own essence. Can you feel the sadness of all the times you said, "I'm fine," when you weren't? Each acknowledgement is a step toward freedom. Now consider the compromises you made, the boundaries you avoided, the yeses you gave when you meant no. This grief is for the self you postponed, the life you delayed. Feeling it is not indulgent, it's essential. Can you allow yourself to mourn all that you gave up so you can finally embrace what's yours? And here's the secret. This grief is your gift. By mourning what wasn't yours to carry, you free space for your authentic self to emerge. Every tear, every pause, every reflection strengthens the foundation for self-loyalty. Can you feel the calm that comes when you honor your own journey instead of carrying shadows that never belonged to you? Now that you've honored your grief, it's time to rebuild. Your inner temple needs space, rituals, and daily practices that honor your true self. Start small, set boundaries in conversations. Take moments to breathe, journal your feelings. Each action is a brick, each pause a beam. Are you ready to reclaim your sacred space? Ask yourself, what daily practices make you feel whole? Maybe it's a morning reflection, a walk without distraction, or simply noticing your body's needs. Self-loyalty isn't grand gestures. It's consistent, small acts of honoring your own energy. Which tiny rituals can you commit to today to nurture yourself? As you rebuild, notice the shift around you. Your energy no longer serves everyone else's patterns. People sense it. The world begins to adjust to your presence, responding to your clarity. This isn't control, it's alignment. Can you feel how your inner changes ripple outward into relationships and surroundings? Part of this work is emotional cleansing. Release what clings to old wounds. Write letters you won't send. Speak truths into your journal. Breathe out old resentments. These small but intentional acts clear the path for your authentic self. What emotions are ready to be released today so you can move freely? Finally, track your dreams, your feelings, your reactions. They are messages from your inner self guiding your journey. Notice patterns, honor insights, adjust boundaries. This is active care, a conversation with your soul. How will you listen to your inner voice tomorrow? What guidance does it hold for your growth and self-loyalty? Now, as you honor your boundaries and your inner truth, subtle shifts begin to show around you. People and situations that once drained you start to drift away naturally. This isn't punishment, it's realignment. Your presence becomes a signal of clarity and strength. Can you feel the freedom in these changes? Your personal awakening ripples outward. When you respect your own limits, others are inspired to do the same. Speaking your truth nudges the world toward honesty. Carrying other people's emotional baggage is not your responsibility. Your only duty is to honor your own feelings and protect your joy. Can you feel the weight lifting? You're no longer here to fix, absorb, or carry everyone else's pain. Your role is to be authentic, to radiate presence without compromising yourself. Your energy sets the tone. Compassion doesn't mean taking on what isn't yours. Who in your life will respond differently now that you stand firmly in your truth? Honoring yourself inspires others. You become a lighthouse not for them to cling to, but so they can navigate their own way. Your courage invites reflection without sacrificing your energy. You can care without carrying. You can love without sacrificing your inner calm. Can you feel the power of leading by being fully present rather than giving endlessly? Yes, some will resist or misunderstand. They may see your clarity as coldness. This is the cost of awakening. Each misunderstanding becomes a mirror of your progress. Can you embrace these reactions as proof that you've reclaimed your energy and are no longer the emotional sponge? Your love now comes from fullness, not obligation. Your generosity is intentional, your presence sacred. This is the love the world often forgets, the love that heals without absorbing. Who can you now support authentically without losing yourself in the process? You once wore the roles you played for approval. They no longer define you. You are the observer, the anchor, the one who stands firm in your truth. Can you feel the lightness and freedom that comes with stepping fully into your authentic self? Every moment you honor your energy, the world adjusts. Connections shift, illusions dissolve. And you are a living example of transformation. Not everyone will understand, but those who resonate will feel it deeply. Who in your life notices the difference in your presence? Remember, your soul wasn't meant to serve the shadows of others. It's here to shine, speak, and move through truth. Speak clearly, protect your energy, and let silence be your strength. You awaken not to save, but to be a guide, a light, a force that transforms by presence alone.